What is that chord? Have a listen to the confusing chord that Queen actually play over the word losers. I love a bit of Queen, and I've been playing that song live at covers gigs for years, but when it comes to that bit, I've always just been kind of guessing. I play it in D because I can't hit Freddie Mercury's high notes, so I've bounced it down 3 steps. To play along with the record, you would just capo this on 3. So this is how I normally play that bit. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions. And it works, but it's not right. In fact, I've never seen one single transcription actually get it right. And that's because what Queen actually play here is an incredibly complicated chord. It's actually played in 2 halves. One half is on the piano and the other half in the stacked choral vocal line. So to figure this chord out and give it its correct name, we're going to have to figure out both the choral chord and the piano chord separately and then kind of smash them together. And once we meld those 2 chords together, get all the notes we're using in a row, we will finally be able to work out and name Queen's loser chord. So let's start out with the piano. Thankfully, because this song has been featured on various rock band type games, the studio stems are actually out there on YouTube for us to listen to. We can now listen for the first time to Freddie's piano part in isolation. Now that chord is actually fairly accessible because you can hear Freddie Mercury doesn't just go plonk, he actually arpeggiates the chord note by note for us. He doesn't slam down all the notes simultaneously, he plays them one at a time. So what we're actually hearing there in that complicated piano chord is the left hand on the piano is playing a G and a B flat to make a kind of G minor sound, whereas the right hand is playing this. That's G, B flat, F, E flat and C. So let's stack those notes now in order from the lowest to the highest. We've got G, B flat, another G, another B flat, C, E flat and F. Take out the doubles and we get G, B flat, C, E flat and F. 5 notes. Now Freddie of course plays this on piano, so to be able to translate it to guitar we need to be in the key of F, but there's so many notes here that I've decided to cheat a little bit and pop the capo on the 1st fret. So now we've got that capo on, there is a way we can play a chord that contains the notes we've heard so far. There's our G, and there's our B flat. If we then take an A minor shape, raise it 2 frets, whilst keeping that G on the low E string, we now have that high F, the E flat and the C. And this string is just that octave of the G. So this is how you can play on guitar the piano chord, but we're not actually finished yet. Here is the isolated vocal harmony and you can hear it's singing something different. So I've isolated that and extended it so you can just listen to those notes and really kind of get them in your head. They are singing a very, very tense chord. It's an A diminished chord. These 3 notes, A, C and E flat, all simultaneously. That's where that incredible unresolved feeling comes from. So here's the notes the backing vocals are singing, and here's the notes we have on the piano. If you look at them side by side, you can see we already have the C and the E flat represented. The only note we need to add in now is the A. Freddie sings this note up here in the higher octave, but that's the melody. We're more talking about harmony here, and the backing vocalists sing that here. So now we have all 6 notes of the loser chord. G, B flat, A, C, E flat and F, in that order. And this is such an interesting chord, because if we just forget about the G and the B flat at the beginning, that kind of minor third, let's just look at the top 4 notes. Listen to those top 4 notes played in the correct pitch together. It's an F dominant 7. So the Queen loser chord is actually 2 chords. It's a G minor with an F7 on the top, a G minor in the left hand and an F7 in the right hand. And when you put those 2 together to give it its proper name, you get a G minor 11 sharp 5. Here's what it sounds like on the piano. Now, of course, on the piano where Freddie plays this, that's not too desperately challenging. I was able to figure it out and do it myself, and I'm not really a pianist. But how the hell do you play it on guitar? I've tried many ways and combinations and unfortunately have failed repeatedly. For the chord to sound right, the notes must occur in this order: G, B flat, A, C, E flat and F. We have 6 strings, but no one has a hand that big. If I do that, I've fretted it correctly, but you can't play it. Now you can rearrange the notes so you have the right letter names present, but in the wrong order. But it just doesn't quite sound right. Truth be told, I don't think it's actually possible to play that chord with all the notes in the right order on one guitar in standard tuning. But we do have 2 options if we choose to play the song using E shapes with the capo on 1. We have the one I showed you earlier, where you take an A minor, raise it 2 frets, and then put your index finger on the 2nd fret of the low E and hit all the strings when you strum. That is one version of the chord, but we've sacrificed the A. Or we have this one, which I actually think is the best. It sacrifices the C, but somehow it keeps the essence of how that chord should sound. So you remember, Freddie Mercury constructed this chord by playing 4 notes in the right hand that formed an F7. Well, here's 4 notes in the right hand that form an F7. And all we do now is add our middle finger onto the 2nd fret of the low E string, and there we have both halves of our chord. We've got the G and the B flat on the low end, and we've got 4 notes forming an F7 on the top end. Let's listen to them together. Now in isolation that is a bit ugly, but when you hear it with the other chords it sounds pretty cool. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions. And so that's it. Queen's secret loser chord from We Are the Champions is a G minor 11 sharp 5. As far as I've been able to figure out, the only way to properly play it is on the piano. But if you can figure out a way to play it on the guitar in standard tuning with all the right notes in the right order, do let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.